So, Jeremiah 1, 2, and 3. It'd be a challenge to read through Jeremiah. Jeremiah had, he was unique. He had a very unique calling. He was called to the nations. He had the sort of calling that today would probably chase us into the belly of a fish. It's just far more than being called to a city like Nineveh. He was called to nations um, that were like Nineveh, but whole nations, whole peoples that he was called to, and he was told to be faithful. Um, and he had to go to these nations because the children of God had forsaken the glory that had been given to them. They had rejected what the Lord had intended for them. They rejected the goodness. They rejected the riches. They rejected the protection. They rejected everything that He had to offer them, and they chased after worthless things. Yeah, they chased after things that had no value. They chased after not just false gods, but false ideas, false philosophies, false priorities. They chased after reputations and riches and fame and glory for themselves. So when we look at, the question really is, what does our Father value? What does He value? That should be something that we ask all the time. And what He values is people. He doesn't, it's not values, it's not sacrifices, it's not anything of the sort. It's people. And what He values is people being treated well. He values when we honor people, when we treat them with value, no matter who they are. But He told us to do that, especially with the marginalized, the people in need. At that time, it was widows and orphans and immigrants and people who didn't have a lot. People who were in disadvantaged situations, and he wanted his people to honor such people, to lift them up to a higher status, and that's what it wasn't happening that way. People were honoring the rich, and the rich were just getting richer, and the rich were not kind people, and they weren't sharing the wealth like they were intended to do according to Father. They were really just a wicked people. And because of that, all the nations around them were also going to suffer, whereas the nations were supposed to be blessed. The nations are supposed to be blessed because of Israel. And so we can ask ourselves, and we need to, when we read things like this, we need to ask, what is a value here? How does it apply to me? What is my relationship like with Father? Do I know what He values? Do I know His heart? Am I chasing after those things, or am I having just a little bit of God on the side? Am I pursuing my own interests, the things that I want? Is that my priority? And every now and then I'll throw dog a bone. I'll throw God a bone. I'll I'll do something to appease Him. I'll do something that will make sure that He's still on my side. Um, Idea, and we're told to love the least. We're told to love the least. Jesus gave us He told us about the separation of the sheep and the goats, and he explained that whatever we do for the least, we do for Him, and that is a priority. That's an absolute priority. That's what Dad values. That's the culture that He wants us to have. That is the kingdom culture that we're supposed to be living, and that's what we should be chasing after. Our days, we should look at our days, and did I honor somebody who was in a worse condition than I was? Did I bless them? Did I encourage them? Did I lift them up? Am I showing value for what Father shows value for? Am I honoring? Am I valuing is what's really important. Yeah. So I'm going to leave that with you. You guys be blessed, be encouraged, and let's pursue Him with all our heart.